How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Draft to the Future. We're doing our player updates, and I don't have a whole lot to do because like 90% of my highlighted players were on a bye week this week. So let's just go over that real quick. Indiana had a bye, LSU had a bye, ASU had a bye, Oregon had a bye, Missouri had a bye, and Rutgers had a bye. So yeah, that's a lot of buys. One note on Oregon, though, Mekhi Hughes, running back. I think he made a good call. He made the decision to redshirt, and he's redshirting because he's got limited carries. And what that means is pretty much he's not going to play this year, and it also means he'll have the opportunity to play next year. So I'd imagine he's going to transfer. I imagine that he's going to try to go somewhere that's going to put him to use. And you can say he underperformed, but when those other backs are just that awesome, I never thought Mekhi Hughes was special among special, but he's good. He's really good. He's really reliable, and he deserves to have some snaps. And even then, he's doing well. So he's going to redshirt. He's probably, I haven't heard any announcements, but I would expect he'll enter the transfer portal and try to get somewhere where he'll be able to come in and really get the touches that he was seeking. So that's a note that I wanted to make. So who did play? Well, Tanner Kazoil did, although it wasn't his best game by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, right now it was statistically his worst. He was targeted 5 times, but he only had 2 catches for, 10 yards. So it just wasn't his best day. But he played Texas Tech, and they are legit among legit. I would like it if you commented on this below, because I'm kind of curious. Do you think Texas Tech is a legit, do you think they could honestly win the national championship this year? Could they beat Ohio State? Could they beat Indiana? Could they beat Oregon? And then SEC, they're going to send someone. A&M, Ole Miss, Alabama, Georgia. Someone's going to go out there. So do you think Texas Tech has the horsepower? Because they're definitely going to dominate the Big 12, with the exception of ASU. I just want to root for my hometown team. So we'll see. But Tanner Kazoil, rough day, but it's only one rough day against a really great defense, so can't really knock him. Who I can say I'm officially disappointed in is Zane Durant. Look, he actually played okay on a team that gave UCLA his first win and allowed 40-something points. You can't be on a team that allowed 40-something points and really have a whole lot to say on your own behalf. But, 63.6 defensive grade, 64.8 run defense, 75.6 tackle grade, 66.6 pass rush grade. It was average. It was an average day, but he was not regarded as an average talent coming into the year, and that's what makes him a disappointment. And even then, this was one of his better games, and you just got to be better. I am really kind of I look at his height, his weight, his speed, his athleticism, and I kind of think he's a linebacker. I can't tell him what to do, but I'd look into it. But this isn't it for him. If I were him, I'd at least come back, because this isn't the film you want people evaluating you on. Wasn't his best game. He's just not making an impact. Chandler Rivers. So the good news is he got an interception. The bad news is he allowed his first touchdown of the season. So it is kind of a hit or miss. Duke is still trying to climb its way out of a hole. But he's averaging 60, almost 61% completion rate, which is not what I expected from him. It's not what I thought he was going to do. And, it's still only one touchdown. You can't, lose your head over that. But he allowed a 30-yarder. I don't know if that's a touchdown or not. The data here doesn't tell me, but you'd like for that to kind of improve, but he did get an interception. He did finish with, 62.7 coverage grade. his talent is not in question. He's still playing at a good level. I was hoping he'd elevate, and what he's doing at the moment is at best maintaining. And so those, you want to see him kind of really step up as he goes. To be fair to him, though, Syracuse, they got some dogs at wide receiver. Cal has an amazing quarterback that we'll probably be talking about here in 2 years. So tough competition, and he still held his own and was a contributor to a winning team. So you got to kind of take it for what it's worth. We'll look at his season as a whole when it's over. But I cannot say that he's elevating. But I won't really go so far as to say he's falling. I still feel good about what I originally thought about where he's at. He's still, maybe not one of the top 5 corners, but he's definitely in the top 10 and definitely deserves a chance to be a starting corner. Probably going to kick into nickel. But he deserves a shot. Last but not least, we got Jake Slaughter. This was a great bounce back game for him. I will acknowledge, I've been trying to figure out why people are kind of lower on him. The data kind of shows, his run blocking isn't exactly where you want it to be. Started out at a 92 for the season, 70, then 59, 59, 58. So his run blocking is a weakness, if you want to call it that. It's a little below average, to be fair. I just think that his ability to keep a line together, his pass blocking, on the whole, I just think it stands out. And then this week against Texas, 63 overall, 58.8 run block against Texas's D-line, 82.1 pass block against Texas's D-line. There's a lot to love. I'm very, very happy with Slaughter and what he's done. Slaughter is still my number 1 center. He's not my number 1 interior O-lineman anymore. That would go to the guard for Penn State. Despite their disastrous season, it's not his fault. And it's obvious that it's not his fault. So that's actually all of the guys I highlighted who are who had anything to talk about, but next week's going to be huge. So we're looking forward to watching that week play out. We're going to start seeing teams separate, and we're going to start seeing players elevate or fall as they play tougher competition and head into that playoff stretch. So hope you've all enjoyed. God bless. Thank you very much, and we'll see you around.